What's up, everybody? Life's Apprentice. Today we're going to be doing some windows. Gonna probably make a couple videos here because otherwise it might get a little long, but we're going to teach you how to tear out windows and how to install replacement windows. I don't see too many other people making videos like this, and feel free to criticize me for whatever, but this is how we do it. We put in quite a few windows every year, a couple hundred probably every year, and this is how we do it. This is what works best for us. We're going to go ahead and show you how that works. Well, here's a window that has not been taken out, so not all of them are going to be like this, but you have your storm window. This is your storm window here. You have some screws. Essentially, those just have to get removed, and this is going to pop out. That's going to be step number one. One problem with these windows, you can see how the trim is. This is about an inch here, and over on this side your trim is like maybe 3/8. That's going to cause you to be a little bit off center one way or another. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold our window as far this way as we can, so that way it's somewhat centered on the inside to the trim, and our aluminum pieces won't be an inch difference, because it'll look weird if this piece is, say, 2 1/8 and this piece over here is 3 1/8. So we're gonna have to try to cheat it so that they are as even as possible. So I don't know how well you guys are gonna be able to see. It's a little bit dark, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna try to center this in the opening as best we can. So first things first, we're gonna open the window. These are double hung, so you can open them like this. There's a piece right here that has to come off. This is going to cover up the screws and just give you a cleaner finish. So we've taken these pieces off.
Oops, I took those ones off.
Yeah, and
fuck the tutorial up.
And then these pieces here go on the bottom right here to cover up. I'll show you when we put them back on. So now essentially all there is to it, you just got 4 screws. Put our screw in. We don't want to over tighten it because it's going to bow the window. We're just going to put it in until it's tight and the window doesn't move. We're going to do the same thing up top. So if you can see here, you have a screw here, and then you need a bit like this, not a regular bit, to get your screw inside that hole right there. But that's essentially it, and you can see how it's pretty well centered on the inside. See this line right here? You see the line right here? It's pretty well centered in here, but outside it's not going to be centered perfectly.
It is actually.
Huh?
It is okay.
No, it isn't. You got an inch gap over here and a 3/8 gap over here.
Well, I mean, with this wood right here, it's lined up evenly.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what we want. I mean, we're trying to cheat it.
Right.
You know, we're trying to cheat this side over as far as we can because this side has a bigger gap. But we want to leave ourselves room to insulate as well. Well, the next thing, which not every window is created equal, but the windows that we use are like this. You can see this little screw right here. This is a built-in shim. They're on both sides. We just take like a little flathead and we just screw these. You just snap these back on. These just snap on, just like that. This is your stop, so the windows don't hit each other. Otherwise, you'll break these like handles or whatever you call them. But those go on. And they also have these these just snap on, just like that, and they cover everything up. You can see these things just snap right on there. See, I'm taking it off. It just snaps on just like that, and that covers everything up. Well, our little built-in shim fell off on this one on the one side, so we're using just standard wood shims. But the reason why you're shimming it is because right here is your seal, and it's really important that this is nice and tight. Not too tight, but tight, because this is what's going to cause an air leak if it's not installed properly. So that side's good then. I'd say you're good all the way around. I'm going to show you this again on another window. Hopefully we have a little bit better lighting on the next window. And the next window is going to be a little bit different because it's a slider. It's not a double hung. Alrighty. Another perfect fit. Now this one's just a little bit different. It is similar in a lot of ways. You can see the holes are here, so that way when the window's closed you can't see these. And on the other side, your holes are here, and then there's little caps that cover these holes. So we're going to put our 4 screws in. What's that?
It's further away right here. On this side. Oh no, it looks on this side.
It looks even in here. So we got these little caps here, and what these are for is they just cover up this hole. They just snap on there, just like that. With the slider, these are a little bit easier to install, but there you go. I mean, that's essentially it. We still have to caulk it on the inside, but that's basically it. We caulk it on the inside, insulate the outside, and then we'll wrap and caulk the outside. It's like a triple sealant. I see a lot of people who do windows like this and stuff. They don't caulk them and they don't insulate them. What's the point of putting in a new window if you don't caulk and insulate it? You're still going to get air gaps all the way around. You're going to get cold and hot and all the elements coming right through your window. And here's what this one looks like outside. The screen is here's what she looks like on the outside. Pretty simple. There you have it. Once you get good at these, you know how to measure them, you know how to tear them out, and you know how to install them. I mean, that literally took us, I'm going to speed it up because I got music playing in the background, but that literally took us 3 minutes. So, that's it. We just did both these in 10 minutes or less. We still have to caulk them, and, you know, there's a lot of finish work, but installing them is extremely easy. Extremely easy. Well, we got 7 windows in. It's been a little over an hour. That's 7 in. We got 3 to go. These crank out windows are really weird. They're extremely hard to measure unless you've done it quite a few times. And people always, when they get a bid, they count the windows and they always count this as one. But in reality, behind here is a 2x4 that's holding up a header above this window. So this is technically 3 windows. So we're going to do a picture window here. And by picture window means this one's not going to open, and then we're going to do double hung on each side. And that's a lot cheaper than messing around with framing and everything like that. So we just do three windows, and 2 of them are functional. You can make this one functional, but in this case it is not functional. Well, now we're going to be caulking on the inside for today. And one of the things, I mean, you can always tell how skilled somebody is at windows and siding and stuff like that by how they caulk. A lot of people, I feel, are terrified to caulk windows and stuff like this because they just don't know how to do it. You can make a really nice window look like absolute crap really quick if you don't know what you're doing. So one little tip, and this is, caulking takes a lot of time and experience and just practice to get really good at it. But one thing I see all the time is when people open their tube, they do it all wrong. The look of your bead, assuming you're not touching it after you caulk it, the look of your bead has everything to do with how you cut your tip. So when I cut it at about probably a 30-degree angle, and you have to have a nice sharp knife, and you have to cut it just perfect. I don't know if you can see that, or how well you can see that, but see how nice and smooth that is? This cut on your tube is going to reflect what your caulk looks like. This is extremely important, and I feel a lot of people don't do this properly. So that's step 1, very important. Number 2, we're going to go inside and caulk these guys. I just caulked it. You can't even hardly tell that it's there. You just got to have a good caulk gun, nice and smooth. I never touch it. Some people lick their fingers and stick their fingers in it. With this stuff especially, you don't want to do that. What I'm using here is Siding Pro. Siding Pro here. It's white, and it's not silicone. You don't want to use silicone on this because you can't ever paint it. So this is acrylic. I don't know, it's good stuff. I've used it for a long time on windows. Silicone also, if you use it on metal, it tends to break. Heat, hot and cold, and expansion and contraction, it will eventually break. Some people like quad. That's another good one. I'm partial to the Siding Pro. Alright, our last and final step before we wrap the windows is we're going to do grate stuff around. And make sure when you do windows that you're using the window and door, because if you use the regular grate stuff or anything that's not window and door, it will actually expand and bow your windows. Another little tip that I use, or a little trick I can teach you here, is you get these straws, right? And they're round, and they're about 1/4 inch wide. What I do is I'll take a hammer or like a handy seamer, and I'll actually flatten that straw, and you can fit it into a tighter spot, so you can get into some of those spots that you couldn't normally. So, little trick. There it is. Got the picture window here. The thing with these crank outs, you can add trim on the inside. I don't usually do it, so I just caulk everything. But these windows have to fit perfectly tight because there's no trim to butt up to in here, the way that I do it. So that's a huge improvement, and it just looks really, really, really nice. And you could do this all in one window, but it's actually cheaper to do it in 3 windows rather than to do it all in one. Some people might disagree, but I know for a fact, price-wise, doing the 3 separate windows is cheaper. These 3 separate windows were about $600, and to do this in one window would be a lot more than that. But turned out really nice. That's 10 windows we just did in, I mean, we're not done, but 10 windows in a couple hours with 3 guys, so you can put them in pretty quick, these replacement windows. Oh, there you can see we got the great stuff in there. This is kind of a tricky spot too, because you can definitely overdo it. And if you do overdo it and it comes out like this, don't touch it and don't try to do anything with it until it's dry. It'll come off a lot easier when it's dry. But it's kind of like caulking. It takes a steady hand and a little bit of experience to know exactly how much to put in there. But anyways, we're going to be back tomorrow. Probably do another part. We're going to be wrapping them tomorrow. We have a couple other things we got to finish up today. We're going to let all that great stuff dry, and we'll be back tomorrow to wrap some windows. So look forward to that. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.